Welcome, everybody, to the Movement Hub podcast. I am your host, Josh.
And I am your other host, Manny.
And today we are talking all things fitness related. We have producer Haley in the back.
All the way in the back.
Okay.
I'm not here. I'm just a voice.
And we talk anything and everything fitness related, things that are going on in our lives, relationships, economics, finances, real estate. We do it all here at
Astrology.
Josh is getting into astrology, guys. I apologize in advance.
Guys, I am a Sagittarius, and that's just how I am, and those are my actions.
Don't get him started on this retrograde.
Yeah. So, man, I don't think we had a chance. You took a certification or a workshop, from my understanding.
I did.
Tell me about that.
Which one?
We're talking about, how many did you take?
I took a lot.
You took a lot. All right.
Manny has a bunch of alphabets after his name.
You definitely do. So you took a kettlebell course in the city, from my understanding.
Yes, I did.
Tell us more about
Elaborate on what city for the viewers outside of the United States.
Jesus Christ. Guys, New York City is where we are, Northeast, Eastern Hemisphere, North America.
You have to specify because the city is not a term that people outside of the New York, New Jersey area are
coming to you from
privy
New York
from.
City.
Yes.
We're actually from Jersey City, guys.
City.
Just letting you guys know.
But New York City sounds a lot better, so we tell everybody New York City.
That's not true. Smells like shit.
Uh-oh.
Hey.
Don't you
Somebody
say
from Jersey.
Was that the sixth train? I don't know. Oh, boy.
Anyway, that certification that I took was called the Kettlebell Coach University.
Kettlebell Coach University.
KBCU. And it's ran by a buddy of mine when I first started training, Hunter Crime.
Cool. Now, from my understanding, you have taken other kettlebell courses before.
I have.
What else have you taken?
I've taken Strong First.
That's it.
That's it.
All right. Very good.
I really thought there was going to be other ones,
there
but
are.
There
Right
are.
now,
There
apparently,
are.
there are the RKC. There are something that I just saw recently, Bell Mechanics.
oh yes,
I'm seeing a lot more pop up as of recent.
When I was a personal trainer, there were some accepted CEUs, and I know there's one that's called Kettlebell Concepts. Is one course. I know Steve Cotter has
For the
an
layman,
IKFF.
CEU means continuing education credits. Then that's towards
That's
your
everybody get up to date with the vocabulary.
continuing education units.
There you go.
CEUs.
CEUs. So let's talk about how it was, how it compares to other kettlebell things. How does it compare
There you go.
to what you've done before, and how can somebody who's not learned in kettlebells, what can they take away from this?
Okay, let me just talk about the two experiences. First, my Strong First experience, and then two, my KBCU experience. I think that's the question that you're trying to get out of me. Is that correct?
Sure, I think that's what I asked.
Oh, was it?
Your prior certifications.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I gotcha. Okay.
Or how would they benefit the person that is starting out kettlebells?
Let's talk about your experience generally. How was the weekend for you?
Yes.
Weekend was amazing. I think that a lot of the concepts already that I know about training with using kettlebells are something that I've already used myself. So I think this time around, I was a little bit more informed with what was going on. Conversely, when I did Strong First, kettlebells were still a new tool for me. So I think with the experience with somebody who wants to learn on how to teach people how to use the kettlebell, I think that both certifications are great, but I think KBCU has a little bit more of the advantage because, and this is a huge because, I think a lot of it is a lot more friendly in terms of teaching somebody new on how to progressively get to where you want to go. Downside is that there's not a lot of technicality that comes into play with KBCU. When it comes to Strong First, there's a lot of technical movements. And I also think that it's probably, the way that I see it is, it's very much so the grandfather of promoting kettlebells and having a certification or a stamp next to your name that tells you that you are kettlebell trained and can also train people that way. So I think that both certifications are really well thought out. I think there's a lot more time and effort that's put into Strong First as well, because it's a widely known company or certification. And there's a lot of people who have their hands on it, especially people who are assisting. I think with the manpower or the firepower that KBCU has right now is still in its works. There was probably 5 or 6 different coaches that were there that were present for that day, and I'm aware that there's a lot of other coaches all around the world, but they're 2 different things. I think with Strong First, how should I dissect this? I think with Strong First, there was a lot more things to go over, from the swing, from the kettlebell armbar, from the snatches, and then you also have a test at the end to really test whether or not you are capable of teaching somebody how to use a kettlebell, which take that back, because when you finish the certification, you actually become a certified Strong First coach. But if you don't pass the exam that they have for you, you don't get the certification that you passed the test. Am I correct or wrong?
You have to pass all your assessments and also the 100 snatch 5-minute
test in order to be certified as
an instructor.
You
need to, yes, you need to do both. You pass the snatch test, but you don't pass the skills test, and vice versa. You don't meet the requirements for it. And it is the same way, and I'm speaking from someone who's an RKC team leader, that the standards are still also the same, where some standards based on your body weight, you have to do certain number of presses, squats, swings, a get up, cleans. And at the end, it culminates in the 100 rep snatch test. You need to show proficiency in all those movements in order to become a Strong First or RKC instructor.
But is it necessary that you should actually be able to do X or these 100 amount of snatches in order to validate whether or not you are capable of teaching somebody how to use a kettlebell?
In order to teach a kettlebell, I'm going to say no. To wear those letters, yes.
Got it.
Like, you can't be a lawyer without passing the bar. You can't practice medicine, you got to do the boards. So nurses do the NCLEX. We're all Filipinos here that are disappointing our parents as not being nurses, but we are people that did not take the NCLEX. But that's because we're not nurses. But in order to be a nurse, you have to pass that test. So in your question, I would say that after you take that weekend course, 2-day or 3-day, you can go back on Monday, pass or not. You have more knowledge and information. You have the tools that you got from that weekend to teach all your clients and everybody else all the kettlebell movements, because you have more knowledge than the common person, and there's a lot that you could take in. Now, you're teaching them the kettlebell, but you're not teaching them as a instructor of that organization if you haven't passed the standards.
Can I jump in? As someone
Producer Haley, from your experience.
From far back.
From far back, all the way in the back. I have taken the RKC. I've attended 2. One recently in Iron Brown Performance Athletics Gym.
The greatest gym in the world.
Specifically in Jersey City.
Yeah, but if it was in New York, it would run that shit too.
Whoa.
Sorry, continue,
Shots
Producer
fired. Haley. Anyways, I would say that, and I've heard you say this, and I can agree. You don't necessarily need the certification to be able to teach someone. I think anyone can teach someone some form of basics on how to move with a kettlebell hard style. However, there is something about being able to demonstrate it the way that it's supposed to look that gives you an edge with people, that you're going to get more people to come in to trust you and how to teach them if you know or you can demonstrate what it's supposed to look like. That's it. That's welcome to my TED.
Which I agree completely. I think like you've taken, and depending on the instructor that you have, and I, you know, not to be a snob or anything, but it's sort of like I will certify or recertify based on whoever has whoever's hosting the event. And I've had some great instructors on both sides, in Strong First and RKC. And I think they provide excellent, phenomenal, top-notch information that I use to share. And it also includes the barbell. I know the Strong First has the SFL, which teaches people barbells, which I use to share with my clients.
Elaborate on barbell.
Barbell is a piece of iron that is 7 feet across.
And then you do this.
Yes.
And then you put rubber or iron plates around it. Circular iron plates. That is a barbell.
What barbell lifts as opposed to USAW that covers Olympic lifts versus
SFL, Strong First Lifter, teaches barbell movements. It's not a powerlifting certification. It's not a powerlifting course. It teaches the power lifts, but it's more than that. It teaches you mechanics of the hinge, the squat, the press, shoulder mobility, all that stuff. It also shows you how to do a military press, good mornings, sumo, conventional style deadlifts, high bar, low bar squats. I think that's where I met Manny for the first time.
SFL or SFG?
It's SFL.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was an assistant, and Manny was a young buck trying to learn the ways of the barbell.
Talking about Manny's still young.
Ways of the iron.
Whoa, easy.
Whoa. Manny's still young.
You were actually looking like the youngest one in there. He had a tucked-in shirt.
I
trying to
did.
be all proper.
It's 'cause
FSL.
I am a professional everywhere I go. But
Really?
also, I didn't own a gym at the time, so I didn't have all the gray hairs that I have now and all the wrinkles and, you know.
And eye bags.
I bag
I was like, come on,
every
guys.
fucking episode. I swear to
We
God, it's these
know,
eye
we
bags that are killing
all
me.
See it.
So
Some makeup artist.
I have a trick for that. Cold caffeine. Whether
Around the
it's
eyeballs.
Tell me this
right,
now.
and I tell you this all the time.
All right, I need cold caffeine next time for our next episode, and you'll see our earlier episodes to now. I'll look like handsome Squidward, you know. But yes, all right. Going back to your question.
Yes, I want to answer my own question.
Go ahead.
But yeah, I really don't think that you need to be able to perform a snatch test in order to be qualified to teach a snatch test. But going back to what you said, in order to represent the letters on that shirt and to be a representation of that specific company, I think that, you know, whatever they want to hold themselves to whatever standard, and you have to do what that standard is in order to be a representation of their company, so be it. They're the ones who own it. They're the ones who run it. They're the ones who their reputation's on the line. So, but yeah, I think that's my experience with both. Phenomenal. They both have their pluses and minuses, but I definitely see so much more growth with KBCU because of, one, the community aspect of it. That's very active. I think it's because it's quote unquote new generation of people who are coming into this sport. Let me finish.
These young bucks here.
Yes, exactly. Because if you look at it with SFG, it's a representation of all these dudes who are probably older.
You're talking about the instructors. The ones who are leading the master instructors.
Right,
yes.
right. So anyway, I also know Hunter more on a personal level of, you know, following him over the years, and we've chatted in my early stages of personal training. So, but yeah, more power to him. I wish him all the best, and I learned a lot from it. And it also sparked some interest with me doing a lot of kettlebell movements with my clients. So
Very good. Good. So if you see one in your neighborhood, check it out. Let me know what you think. Anything that pops in, I think it'd be a good thing to see, especially from my perspective, kettlebells from a different point of view as well. So, sure, different techniques,
different programming.
You know, like
Pros
pros what?
and
Pros and cons is our next segment on today's show, guys.
let's go.
Let's get into it. So we are talking about splits. Now I'm gonna name 3.
What kind of splits?
I will
Splits on the floor?
Gymnastics.
Splits on the floor, or
banana
splitting
split?
hairs? No?
That split's really good
Or
right now.
or splitting tongues?
So to the layperson, I would describe a split as basically how you organize the week on how you train. Now, if you follow the Julian calendar, there are 7 days in a week. All right? Monday
What?
through Sunday.
7.
7 days. Follow, stay with me, guys.
I've been living in 8 this whole time.
I get it. It's trainer brain. You're like, what day is it? What year is it? I don't know.
It's chest day.
Yeah.
Legs day.
So we're going to get into that as well. So we're going to go into traditional, and I'm
Bodybuilding
going to go into bodybuilding splits because that's a lot of people who are into these globo gyms. People who,
Traditional.
people that go to
equipment gym.
open gyms that have machines and dumbbells, kettlebells.
versus what would be the alternative.
Yes, which is group class functional fitness, air quotes again, which is sort of what my gym is. And I'll explain where that falls into. But traditional bodybuilding split. And here's how I would explain it. Pros and cons. Now, everybody knows in bodybuilding that everybody does chest on Monday. Okay? So,
Today years old to know that.
I feel like it's well known, right? In the personal training community?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe Manny might have also been today years old. That
I'm
was
still
mandatory?
lost. I still live on 8 days a week.
feel
so-
gaslit right now that you guys have no clue what I'm trying to say.
Is this in the Arnold books?
Anyway, Arnold has a big influence on a lot of these that people follow. So, like certain days now, and like different days can be viewed differently. But a lot of people, for the most part, I'm going to say generally speaking, Monday is a chest day. One of these days is a leg day. So let's say Tuesdays are probably a leg day. Wednesdays we go back to back, and then a Friday will probably be arms, and Thursday we'll do abs, core, accessories. All right. Now, what are your thoughts, pros and cons, before I give my pros and cons on traditional bodybuilding splits?
Pros.
Pros.
Structure.
Okay.
I think it's quite simple to the T. It's very easy to follow. You kind of have an idea of the week of what you're going to hit in terms of muscle groups, which can definitely lead you to a better route of progressively getting better at these lifts throughout the week. Cons, boring.
Boring. I was going to say pros for someone who's not in that world. I think it's kind of fun.
I think after training for that long, and it's just boring because you're not doing anything else that anything that might kill you.
Well, elaborate.
Elaborate. When you are training running, let's just say marathon, and you go on a long run, you're scared shitless because you think that you might die. Going for let's say a CrossFit workout. You go in on every session thinking you're going to die.
That's very true.
You go into a kettlebell class at Ironbound Performance.
You're going to be good the next day, baby.
Yeah, I've been there. I thought if I really push it, I thought I was going to die.
Yeah, try Turkish.
It is what you put into it.
Put some weight on top.
But when it comes to bodybuilding training, it comes to the point where like, all right, I'm about to die here. Let me stop. So I think there's a lot more control with bodybuilding. That's why I think it's boring. Again, I'm not saying that it's bad or that it's like a very it's probably the most effective training styles for the normal person, quote unquote. But I think after a while, if you're a fitness fanatic, you'll eventually branch out to a different style of working out. At least I did.
Okay.
But I was doing bodybuilding for
So
maybe 10 years.
Variation.
That's a con?
Or is it or the lack of variation?
I was gonna
disagree
say
with
I was
that.
gonna say pros.
That was a question mark.
Wow.
What do you guys?
To go on that point, I was gonna say a pro would be very easy to follow, and you don't need to have a structured program. All you know is that on Thursdays it's shoulder day,
You're
baby.
going to press something over
We're
your
gonna
head.
press. We're gonna do some lateral flies. We'll do some reverse flies.
Cables.
Yeah, we'll do some cable work.
Some Jesus raises.
Yeah. Hey, it's Easter Monday. Is that what it's called?
Yeah. Jesus.
Is that what you call? I've never heard that before.
If you make a narrow stance with your feet, you close your eyes, chin slightly up, and then you come up at a side raise and you hold it for as long as you can. It's called the Jesus.
I'm gonna
raise.
tell this to all my Jewish clients. This is what this was. This is what it's called now. All right? So like it's very easy to structure. I think the cons would be that it compromises the following day. I think to your point where you feel like you're about to die, and I can get that if you're like, let's say Wednesday is a very heavy leg day. So you are going for leg destruction. You're on the hack squat machine. You're on the leg press. We're doing some lunges. We'll do some leg extensions. We'll do some leg curls. If you do legs, all legs Wednesday, your Thursday, Friday, and a little bit of Saturday is going to be compromised. It's going to be hard walking up the stairs. Getting off the toilet is going to be a struggle. On days you do chest, it's very hard to like give people hugs. You know,
That's a hard training session.
yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, hey, if the people that you're intimate with, I said people, more than one. All right. Yeah, it's going to be very, very challenging. So I would say cons, your day-to-day habits are compromised. You're not as who you are the following day or two, the 2-day DOMs.
So aside of bodybuilding splits, where you have dedicated days to do chest, shoulders, back, legs, what other kind of splits are we talking about?
Well,
here?
there's another one, which is another popular one that's used, and one that I kind of like for myself and to coach other people. It's upper lower splits.
Ooh.
One day will be upper body, another day will be lower body. And you could say, hey, lower body day, it could be anterior. So everything is going to be quads. Yeah, that's it. And
Straight
and then
up quads.
Just quads all day.
Quads and anterior tibs.
Yeah. Just get these toe raises going, guys.
Get these kneecaps.
Yeah.
guys.
Go.
And then another leg day will be all posterior. So we'll do glute training, we'll do hamstrings, we'll do calves. And same thing with push-pull motions too. One day could be heavy press day. Another day could be a lot of back and biceps and pull. The pros, same thing with the traditional bodybuilding splits. Very easy to structure. You just pick a body and then just find something.
Just
Pick a
do
body.
anything.
Pick a body.
pick a body part. Pick a body.
You do all legs.
You triceps.
So if you go to push and pull, all you gotta do is walk through the gym and be like, hey, I think I'm gonna do this today. You don't have to have anything structured. Cons.
That's poor planning.
Cons, like you're gonna have to think a little more on what to fill up the variation of it. Your thoughts on the push on upper lower splits?
Yeah, I think the pros is I think that the upper lower split gives you more pros when it comes to strategically thinking of how you're really going to integrate training into your life. Why? Because you can't really just pull up to the gym now and look at machines and just do whatever, because you may still be crushed from the previous day or the day before from doing that training. So you have to be a little bit more strategic. So I think that's the pros for me. The cons, there's less room to fuck things up. Elaborate. So when you do the traditional bodybuilding splits, in terms of fucking up, is you could literally choose any exercise that promotes whatever body part that you are trying to hit that day. Conversely, I think if you're coming in on a upper and lower split and your chest is just crushed and all you know what to do is chest, and you come in that day saying, oh, it's the upper day and I have to hit chest again, then you're screwed. Because how many different movements do you think somebody knows without having a lot of experience when training? They probably know bench press. They probably know shoulder press. They probably know flies. And they know low rows and pull downs. And what else do they know?
I mean, they can stay with the same. I have a buddy that does the same 3 or 4 movements. Like, oh, God, here he goes again. He's on the bench. He's going to do some pull-ups. He's going to do some pull-ups. He's going to do some shoulder flies. And one of these days, he's going to do legs. I'm still waiting for that day.
Does he wear sweatpants all the time?
Yeah.
Leggy ones?
All the time. I'm sure he wears pants going to the beach.
Mm.
You know,
he's that dude. Goes in the water.
He's that. Who's that?
Everyone is blessed with Filipino calves.
He's that lobster from SpongeBob that just goes to the beach. It's just like very.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
I've never really put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah. You
So
never.
It's an inverted triangle. Is what you're saying.
Yeah, and I'm like, hey, well, that's your thing. Hey, legs. Nobody cares how much you squat or deadlift at the beach. Apparently, that's your thought. Sure, whatever.
So we have upper and lower splits.
And now I'm gonna go into my personal favorite because it goes into what we do at IPA. And I will introduce this split, which is the full body split, which means you're gonna do full body on that session by starting with the con of the previous 2. The con with the previous 2 is that if you show up on a particular body split and you can only, let's say you do a certain group fitness class in the city, New York City, let's say Monday is a chest, shoulders, triceps day, but you can only work out on Monday. Guess what I'm doing for the next 12 years? I'm going to be doing chest, shoulders, and triceps. So the con of the previous splits is that it creates a little imbalance if you don't consistently like try to have a little variation and even out all the other body parts. Now the full body part, the pro is that any day you show up, let's say you show up on a Monday or a Thursday, full body, you're going to achieve it all and you're going to attack the body as one whole unit. Okay? My con about that is that you're not going to target, per se, the muscle you want to improve on at its absolute peak. So I'm probably going to do like 3 sets of bench, and that's about it. And then I'm not really targeting the chest as hard as I would want to if that's my ultimate goal. Your thoughts? Full body.
My thoughts. I take a little different approach when it comes to full body training. I do more of a full body / upper focus day. And I also have a full body / lower body focus day. Hear me out. When I'm doing a full body upper body focus day, it would be more of 5 different exercises that are for the upper body and then 2 for the lower. So it's still full body. Yeah. And then converse on the other side, lower body focus day, you got 5 exercises for lower body and you got 2 upper. So personally, I think that, well, at least with majority of my clients that I train with me anywhere from 2 to 3 times a week, I have a couple that do 5, which normally has the traditional bodybuilding split. And then maybe one day for conditioning where I just totally wreck them. I think that the better approach is a upper focus day and a lower focus day because you still can hit all the body parts of a certain person. And it's not so focused on just hitting all the muscles that are above the waist versus hitting all the muscles that are underneath the waist. So those are my thoughts. I don't think I answered your question properly. So.
No, I think look, I'm of the notion that training is more art than it is science. And I feel like it's really on the user, like yourself, that's able to manipulate ways like, hey, yes, it's still full body, but hey, with a little more emphasis on, let's say somebody likes to work on calves. calves for some reason. I don't know why. There are people out there that want to work on calves. Look, there's nothing you can do with calves. It's just whoever your parents are. Choose them better.
Or you can gain 300 pounds, stay that way for a few years, and then come back all the way down, and you have big calves.
Is that the way to do it? Everybody, guys, I want you to gain 300 pounds right now.
Tell us how that goes for your calves.
I think the
That's the
first
secret.
part is a task.
You heard it here first, guys. It's a Movement Hub exclusive. Gain 300 pounds. Gain calves.
And let us know how it goes.
We need a disclaimer at the end. Like, we are not responsible for
An
anything that
asterisk,
happens.
please don't.
Is there anything I'm missing when it comes to splits? I know there's a push-pull split. That's one of them.
Push-pull
Is
split.
there anything else I'm missing? I feel like, do you know any other splits?
Well, like an upper-lower conditioning split.
Conditioning.
Yes.
What is that? Upper conditioning.
No, upper-lower conditioning split. Mm-hmm. So you have upper body and then lower body. So upper body strength, lower body strength,
conditioning.
and then full body conditioning.
Oh, sounds like an IPA class.
Oh. Hits all heads.
Right here in Jersey City, the greatest city in the world, guys.
What is your favorite split among the three?
There are right now I'm in this process where I'm changing my training based off of the season. So right now in the springtime, it's going to be kettlebell focused. And then when the summer comes up, I'm going to switch it more into a bodybuilding split. And it's going to be more of that sort of functional training, but mix a little bit of bodybuilding. And here's how it's going to be set up. So if it's going to be an upper body press one day, it's also going to be coincided with a lower body pull. Upper press, lower pull. And then 2 days later will be a Wednesday, will be a upper push. No, upper pull, lower push. Squat motions. And then again, very similar to what you do, except no conditioning because cardio kills your gains. It's well known. No running for the summer.
So you're doing all your running prior to
June 1st. And once June 1st hits, it's that
what you're saying
sweet
is
bodybuilding split.
summer is going to be fluff and buff.
Yeah. And I'm just going to do my cardio by sweating and standing outside, existing.
Waiting for the train for 10 minutes
Yeah.
in like 100 degree weather.
You might as well just hold the calf raise at the same time.
Yeah.
Build them calves.
I think I'm okay in the cap department.
Okay, fine.
You're blessed.
I am.
Cool. So it really depends on the season that you're in.
For
that
me,
dictates
yes,
what kind of
yes.
training that you do.
Like I like a full body split, but there are times where I want to like vary it a little bit, and then I want to be like, let me just work on upper body today, and let me get that lobster shaped, shoulder taper
But
going to the beach
with legs.
with what?
With
Not
legs.
little legs.
No.
With legs.
I have to. Yeah, I have to do legs. Like, come on, I'm a very learned. I know things, and I think that everybody should do legs.
For the
I'm
viewers
still
that are
functional.
listening.
Even though I'm doing bodybuilding, I'm still going to be functional.
For the viewers that are listening, point of reference to fitness would be this podcast. English might not be a good point of reference.
No one asked me. You asked me to train you. You didn't. You're not here for grammar, all right? The hell? You wanna go
You're
grammar?
here for fitness,
You want to
not
go
for
grammar?
English
You want to do
lessons.
English? Go into that other podcast.
Any
You know-
other podcast?
You
in
know the
English.
one. We're the English gooder. All right, so
That is training splits for you guys.
that's trading splits 101.
There you go.
All right. Hey, let's end off on this note. Recording videos and listening to music for your workout session. Are they a benefit or are they a detriment to your workout? And can they compromise your workout? The effectiveness of your workout?
Benefit, that's for sure. Have you ever worked out in a gym that was pitch silent?
Good Lord, if I could work out at a gym with no one has a tripod, I would be in absolute heaven.
Whoa, we're talking about music first.
Music. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do music first.
Music.
Can you work out in complete silence?
Yes. But I'm a psycho, so I don't think it applies to me.
You're one of the very few. I could not.
So you're that type of guy benching in a pitch silent gym and singing to yourself while you're doing 10 reps of bench.
I don't sing. I'm listening to a podcast. I'm looking at a YouTube video. I'm doing the same thing people do when they fold their laundry. I'm listening to something.
But not music.
It's not music.
Interesting.
When I run outside and I soak in those solar rays.
You run in silence?
I run in silence. Is it weird that I run in silence?
That couldn't be me.
You guys are absolute junkies. Every single one of you. You guys need this drug to keep you going.
I don't want to listen
Says
to
the
my
one who
thoughts.
snorts pre-workout before the workout.
Allegedly.
Sorry.
You have to say that for my lawyers.
Allegedly.
Right?
Sorry, you offended me a little. I had to throw you under the bus.
I ran yesterday. I went from here to the Colgate Tower, and I just listened to the streets of the city. I'm aware of the people around.
That's like a 4-minute run.
The pro on that is
12 minutes.
listening to your surroundings. If you guys are not aware, there's someone that is serially punching people in New York City right now. So that the pro on that of complete silence is you're completely aware of your surroundings. The con is now you're listening to your thoughts.
That's true. And you know what? The thoughts of me hating myself is what keeps me running. You know, all that self-hatred keeps me going, and I'm here for it.
So what do you think about when you're running?
I think about why I hate myself.
Wow.
Yes. So let's go back to our original question.
Manny, what do you listen to when you're working out?
Definitely not what Josh is listening to.
Not your own
Not
thoughts.
my inner demons.
Nope.
I just have a conversation. It's fine.
So funny enough, before I used to listen to a lot of sob music. I used to listen to Sam Smith when I used to work out. You know why? It's because once you're sobbing, that's when the greatest strength comes out.
That I do agree with.
Have you tried when you says stay with me?
No.
And you're benching 225? It's like, yes, you'll stay with me on this. And you bench 225.
I'm gonna have to no. I'm gonna be
You need to try
I don't know
it.
what you guys.
I'll tell you right now, I lost so much weight listening to Adele after a breakup.
Boom.
I think you. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about why Sam Smith makes you cry. All right, that's what I want to know.
The question is, how do you not cry to Sam Smith?
If I could cry, I would. But listen, guys.
You don't have tear ducts.
I understand. I think I absolutely agree. I'm in the minority. Haley watched me do kettlebells earlier. I was doing kettlebells. There's no music going on, and that's how it is for me.
That's the pros. That's the pros of not listening to anything.
What
when there's no music going on.
Complete silence.
You just meet them.
The thing with me is that if I can train in complete silence, I can train in anything. But if a lot of people, there's so many clients of mine, and it does bother me, and I hope they're listening. And
so they can feel personally attacked.
Exactly.
No names.
So you know it's
names.
you. But they're like, Josh, can you change the song? I don't want to work out and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, all right, what do you want to listen to, man?
So it's a distraction.
It's a dependency.
Like the way you depend on caffeine?
I don't depend on caffeine. I could work out with no caffeine. I mean, I had tea earlier, but did
That's
I
caffeine.
snort cocaine?
That's
Sorry, not cocaine.
Hey.
Did you work out today?
Allegedly.
Did I snort it today? I did not. I went on pure will.
Nor
and
do you
determination.
condone illegal drug usage.
That is correct. We abide by the law here.
I went to DARE, DARE classes when I was young.
Drugs are whack.
Yeah.
Just say no.
Yeah.
Nancy Reagan. But yeah, that's what I think. I think it's a dependency. I think people rely on it too much, and I think they waste a lot of time looking for that song, that playlist. It's a waste of time. To me. I'm speaking for me. I think it's a waste of time. People are going to get triggered by this, but I do feel it's a form of weakness.
So what do you think about world-class powerlifters listening to their heavy metal before they go for their 1 rep
That's
max?
fine. Their preference. Like I will, like the day of a competition on my TSC, I will. Oh, day of TSC, Tactical Strength Challenge for my max effort 545 deadlift. I played Toto by Africa. All right.
Africa. You mean Africa by Toto?
That's what it is.
Other way.
So English, I didn't understand sequence of words. So yes. So that's what I played. And there's footage of me, and I hope Leah could find this for me. But there is footage of me, and I went crazy for it. You know,
Pre-gray hair, Josh.
that was true. Oh God, yeah. I think it wastes time. I think it transitioned to what I feel about setting up, recording all your workouts. I think it's a distraction. I don't feel like it wastes more time than it really needs to. I think you just go in there and you focus more on the angles, you focus more on the selfie, and you're not. No, I tell you what you're not focused on. You're not focused on your workout.
So now you have segued into
Videos, recording.
Yes.
So what about the people who are trying to record themselves to make sure that they're doing things correctly with their
Every
phone?
single time? Like, yes, you do it, but then you do it every single time. And I'm like, good Lord Almighty, can you not do it every single time? Can I not walk through a gym where I'm tripping over tripods?
Have you ever tripped over a tripod?
Yeah, I've tripped over tripods. I've had tripods fall on other people. And it's just like, God, this is why we have a gym here where we don't have tripods. We just focus on the workout and like, that's
Which is a luxury to have.
It's a fantastic luxury, but I think it's the detriment to society. I think it's the downfall of what's wrong with these people nowadays. Is that everybody's trying to record something? They're doing it for the clout.
But sometimes, like they could have a online trainer, and they're asking for form correction.
Mm-hmm, that's correct. I've done it before with my client.
Just because I say something globally doesn't mean there are exceptions.
It doesn't apply to everyone.
We're not shaming all the people who have tried.
But a good amount of you.
I've had some people communicate with their trainers on their earpiece, and they're like, "Hey, am I doing this right?" I'm like, "Hey, cool. I respect that. Whatever." But for the most time, they're trying to get that angle. They're trying to go for the thirst trap, and they're all being sluts.
Hey. We're not shaming that either.
All right, if you are a slut, I am not trying to shame you. You do you. You have an OnlyFans. You're trying to pay through college. It's your life, you know. Have at it.
Manny's like, how do I come back from this?
Yes, don't do the tripods in the gym, or else this guy will see some stuff on
Kids, get out.
on this podcast.
Apparently, that makes you a slut.
Oh, what's even worse is like these people doing
Grabs the tripod.
You.
Everybody's into. I don't know,
Okay.
man. They do it for the clicks and likes, and it's a dopamine effect, and they do it for their own.
But what about if it's their business?
They're making money off it, good, but I feel like a majority of people are not. They're trying to do it to like.
So the ones who are making money off of it
for the clicks and likes. I don't know the people. You go into like Journal Square and you go into a Globo gym there, and it's like people that are just recording whatever they're trying to record at, like.
At the very least, be respectful of the people around you.
You know what's worse is like, you ever have those people that like record something and then you walk right in front of them in the angle of the camera and you're like, excuse me. And you're like, what do you mean, excuse me? This is a public place. Get out of here.
That's happened too.
It's not happened to me, but I see it. I see it on the Tiki-Takis.
Tiki-Taki's got it.
You know?
I think that if you have a tripod and you're recording yourself doing an exercise, it has to be right. You have to do it with good form. Like you can't be recording yourself and, squatting 315 pounds when that squat looks like it's going to be your last squat in your life.
That's true.
You have to
record just everything.
Yeah, exactly.
There are people who want to form check all the time. There's a lot of like this new breed of powerlifters that just have to record every single session. And I just think like, look, you already have 15 minutes rest periods. So like, I think the last thing you need is to like record every single session, You know, I said this to people training for the last powerlifting meet, is that people need to not be on their phones when they train, because a lot of times if you got a heavy set and you have 5 sets of 2 and you have to rest in between, but in between your rest you're going on your phone, you're scrolling, you're distracted. I think that in that 5, 6, 7 minute rest, 10-minute rest, you should be focused on the next lift, and only that. You should do your visualization. You shouldn't be like being distracted on whatever you saw on whatever the tiki-talkies. Because all of a sudden, I have seen it firsthand, and I'm only saying this anecdotally, is that sometimes their lift is not good because they weren't focused on the lift. They were focused on something else. They're distracted. They're doing emails, whatever the case may be. Whatever it wasn't their lift, and their lift got compromised.
Long story short, no texting, no tiki-taki in between sets. Focus on your workout.
If you've ever been to a comedy club in the city, New York City, what they do to prevent people from going on their phones is they put their phones into a little pencil case, and you don't have it until the end of the show. And I think if this was my America, I would take people's phones, put it in pencil cases, and you don't get it until you're done with your workout. Experiment. Give it a shot. Guys, what I want you to do when you go into the gym, put your phone in the locker, don't answer it.
Try that at IPA.
There's so many people that take rest periods and they go into the cubbies, and I'm like, where are you? Come on. Like, get back in. You really answering a phone call at like 7:38 in the evening?
Some people have to.
True.
I doubt this guy who, let's say, works at a school does not have to answer phone calls at 7:38 in the evening.
Maybe
every single class.
Maybe a kid's lost.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Anyway, long story short, don't be distracted. Yes. Don't use your phones while you're training. Stay focused, or else this guy's gonna call you a
slut.
Yeah.
But also, circling back to tripod or not, you're saying avoid distractions, and you think tripods are a distraction.
I think they're more of a detriment. Look, I'm not going to give an absolute. I'm not going to say that all tripods are bad. I feel like if you want to record yourself to actually check the form, to do a depth check, great. But if you're on the phone, you're checking emails, you're social media scrolling, I think that it hinders you from what your actual potential can really be. You're spending 90 minutes at the gym when you really should be spending 45.
There you go.
All right.
That is the podcast, folks.
That sounded like a literal mic drop.
Yes. All right. So, any closing thoughts for today?
Don't use your tripods.
Producer Haley?
Stop slut shaming. How about that?
I like what I like. All right. It is my favorite pastime, and I will continue to do so. Thank you, guys.
All right. And